Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at an anti-war movie from 1971. This movie actually has a little bit of a history behind it because, well, it is the movie that led to the creation of one of the greatest heavy metal songs ever written. I'll get to that in just a sec. The movie is called Johnny Got His Gun. Now, the story behind this movie, or rather the story behind the song that this movie inspired, is that the members of legendary heavy metal band Metallica watched and loved this movie. So much so that they wrote a song called One. A lot of people who know about heavy metal know about that fucking song. And they wanted to incorporate audio from the movie and video from the movie in the music video. And after doing a little bit of research and doing a little bit of digging, the band found out that it'd be cheaper to just buy the movie outright instead of just acquiring the rights to, instead of just acquiring the licensing rights to use the footage for just the music video. So that's exactly what they did. Metallica owns the rights to Johnny Got His Gun, which is why anytime you see the movie released on DVD, it comes with the music video for One because, well, why not? They're both owned by the same fucking entity, so shit, why not? Now, the only things I know about the movie is what I've seen in the music video, and that kind of gives away a whole lot of the plot, but still, I don't know if this film's going to be gripping, touching, suspenseful. The only thing I know is that it's fucking depressing as shit. And that's all I know going into this. So, I really... Oh, and there is one other thing. This movie is based on a novel. The novel's author wrote and directed the movie, which you don't see that very often. In fact, the only other time I can think of is when Stephen King wrote and directed Maximum Overdrive, but I apparently am one of the few people on the planet who actually enjoyed Maximum Overdrive, so I'm not about to get into that. That is a rather interesting little bit of trivia, and it's something else which sort of makes this movie, which makes it unique in its own sort of way. So, now it's time to see if this thing's any good. Without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Johnny Got His Gun. Well, I really don't think that a woman ever openly expects her dad to say, yeah, go in there and, go in there and fuck him. I don't fucking care. That would probably be a little bit of an awkward moment, I think. I mean, I sure as shit would be creeped out if I actually was with a woman and her dad showed up and went, you two, bedroom, go fuck now. That would probably just ruin the moment for me, I think. So let me see if I understand this. Jesus is willing to cheat at cards against dead soldiers and tell them when their kids are going to die. I'm sorry. Jesus is kind of a dick, isn't he? So Dad asks his son for a hug. The creepiest way I've ever heard. And he seems almost surprised when his young son says no and runs off. My dad asked me to give him a hug to keep the chill of death away. I think I would have been justified in running away and saying no too. Just saying. You know, Jesus should probably know when someone doesn't have eyes or, the ability to talk. So when he tells them that their best strategy is to open their eyes and yell, it really does come off as dickish. I'm really beginning to hate Jesus more and more in this goddamn movie. I really, really am. So, in his dreams, his girlfriend now is kind of emo. Really whiny, too. But, hey, at least he still loves her. That's kind of a positive, I guess. You guys happen to remember when I mentioned earlier about how his dad creepily asked for a hug? Well, now his dad's spooning him. Good God, that is just creepy on a whole host of levels, man. Wow. Yeah, I really never thought they were gonna cash in on the whole story about the Indians who were captured and strung up and tossed into the fucking lake, but nope, we get to see skeletons with rocks around their ankles. Never really thought I would see that. Definitely a nice change of pace, I guess. Holy shit. Well, guys, that was Johnny Got His Gun. Wow. That ending was sad as shit, guys. Let me shut that off. It, you can probably tell just by listening to me talk, and there's probably still a little trace of tear. Yeah, it broke. Yeah, it broke me. I had to break down and sort of cry a little bit there at the end, just because, well, motherfucker, there's no way you can watch this thing and not cry just a little bit. I mean, come on. That ending is fucking depressing as hell, man. Okay, well, I gotta try to collect myself here because I gotta actually review the movie. Holy shit. I should say, never thought in my life, well, in my life, what the hell? Never thought in a year or year plus I've been doing this show, never thought I'd find a movie that would make me fucking cry. Never. Never. And fuck, I found one. So now I found movies that made me laugh, made me angry, and made me fucking cry. Wow. Well, I should say, before I get into the review itself, well, this is part of the review, but a lot of people say it's impossible to make a real anti-war movie because pro-war people find those anti-war flicks and they love the shit out of them. If you don't believe me, go ask anybody who loves war movies about Full Metal Jacket or about Apocalypse Now. They will tell you that they adore those movies. Both those movies are so staunchly anti-war, it's not even funny. But people who are pro-war and all this other shit, they adore those movies. I dare anybody who's pro-war and absolutely adores all of these anti-war films because they see them as some kind of like jingoistic fantasy, watch this thing. This is a true anti-war film. This thing never once tries to glamorize war. It never tries to make it look good, never tries to make it look beautiful, never tries to make it look empowering. It makes it look hellish, pointless, and stupid. Okay? I probably am a little bit biased because I myself am a very staunchly anti-war person. So I'm able to see the message here. A couple of people might see this and see it as some kind of like a big message, but no. A young American soldier is so brutally mutilated through fucking mortar fire. He no longer has arms, legs, a face, a voice. He cannot hear, he cannot speak. There's nothing beautiful about that. This movie shows you exactly how hellish and how shitty war can be. Times have not changed from the time period of this film. This film's set during World War I. Times haven't changed from then to now. And I could probably go on about that for hours, but I'm not here to preach. So it's time to get into the actual review itself. First of all, the writing. It moved me to tears. So, enough said. The writing's amazing. At times. I should say, everything involving Joe, our main character, when he's in the hospital, especially towards the end when he finally figures out how he can communicate with the outside world. That is some of the best written shit ever. The closing, the very ending of this movie, is probably going to tear your heart out and fucking stomp on it. So, if you're not the kind of person who likes to cry during movies, you are not going to like this one. But this is also the same movie which has a dad who's very creepily affectionate with his son, and same movie that has douchebag Jesus. So, I mean, it kind of tries to balance these a little bit by giving you by giving you a douchey Jesus who's kind of funny. By the way, that is probably one of the finer performances which Donald Sutherland has given. I just wanted to mention that because he does play douchebag Jesus in this film. I'm going to continue to call him douchebag Jesus because there's never a moment when he's on camera when he isn't a colossal douche. Okay, so we have him as douchebag Jesus, and that kind of makes things sort of funny. Then we have the dad, and all of his segments are all kind of creepy in their, own way. Because the dad asks his son for a hug by telling him to, help ward off the chill of death. And then they go camping years and years later, and dad is spooning him in the fucking tent. That's just creepy as hell. It really is just a bizarre, creepy thing there. And then we have the moments with his girlfriend and all the fantasies he has with her, and that's all whole hosts of fucked up. In fact, let me tell you guys, about half of this film is told either in flashback or some kind of bizarre, fucked up, dream. A lot of it's dreams, and they actually have a visual style which kind of works in with this. Everything which is done in black and white is stuff that's actually happening. At least that's, for this story, that is everything set in the real world. Someone's running the water over there. You guys can probably hear that, and it's no real biggie. Everything which is in color is either a flashback or a dream sequence. Or, since all of it is going on in Joe's head, the flashbacks are dream sequences. It's kind of those weird things. The movie asks a lot of questions about life, about God, and about the point of war. So again, if you're not into a film that's trying to preach, you're probably not going to like this. You're not into films that are almost guaranteed to make you fucking cry, you're not going to like this. But I'm not up to recommendations yet. Acting. Acting is where this is a huge mixed bag. Because we have some actors are really good. I'm talking like our lead, who spends most of the film either, again, in a dream state or narrating. Because, well, that's really the only time he really has to act, because everything else is just his head with a box over it, and he is either reacting to something, or again, he finally learns how to communicate using, Morse code. That's really all of the physical acting he does when he's not in the dream sequences. So there is that. The acting there is really good. Then we have a bunch of the secondary actors. People who don't play major roles but are just there. They suck, alright? I'm not even gonna front. They are horrible actors. However, you are going to be so sucked into this story, at least I think that you're going to be so sucked into it that you might notice the bad acting, because that bad acting sounds off like a fucking trumpet. I mean, it really is that bad. But it's not going to fully pull you out because you are that immersed. That is how good the writing is in this thing. Is even bad acting can't totally kill it. A lot of movies, bad acting can completely cripple a movie. This, it just kind of hobbles it a little bit, and it just sort of limps. It just sort of limps through those scenes before taking off at a full fucking clip again. Once we're past all the shitty actors and we're back to the ones who actually know what the fuck they're doing. Now, I had to download this one because it's not on Netflix. I didn't bother to look on Hulu. It might be on Hulu for all I know. And I didn't want to wait for the DVD to show up. I am probably going to buy the fucking DVD of this, but I'm going to get to that when I talk about recommendations. But the copy that I downloaded, I don't know if this came off of the DVD. I don't know if this came off of an old fucking VHS copy. But there are a lot of problems involving picture and sound. Again, I don't know if these are with the final version or if it's just what I have here. But the sound is really quiet. I'm talking from start to finish, the sound is real quiet. In fact, I was watching it on my laptop here. I have the volume on my laptop at full. So this thing should have been coming in loud and clear, and there are a lot of scenes where it's just overly quiet. So you have to listen real close if you're trying to pay attention to the fucking dialogue. Since this is a very dialogue-heavy film, poor sound is kind of a bad thing. And in terms of picture, I'm going to assume that this thing was basically pieced fucking together from a ton of different masters, because the picture quality is just ridiculously schizo. I mean, like, we have certain scenes which look absolutely beautiful, which actually look almost like a DVD quality transfer. Then we have ones that look almost like they were taken off of like an old VHS master, and certain ones look almost in just worse quality. It's just, we have like certain scenes where everything is real like pixely and kind of fucked up, and then other ones the colors are just way too saturated, and that might also take you out a little bit. And of course, all this is really noticeable in the flashbacks and the dream sequences, because those are in color. So every single issue involving like color is going to really jump out at you. I really do not know if that is a problem with every copy of this. Perhaps maybe if you buy the DVD, you might have decent like picture quality and sound that isn't overly quiet. I really cannot promise that, and I cannot guarantee it. I'm just giving you a heads up based on the version I just watched. So, those are just a couple of minor, technical issues. Lighting was pretty good for, like the most part because there are a couple of scenes that are just way too dark. Certain ones are a little bit too brightly lit, which would probably explain the over fucking saturation in a couple of scenes. Lighting seemed a little bit on the amateurish side, I would say, but still not horrible. Just really could have used a little bit of extra work, maybe a little bit of care into how everything was placed. The sound, well, I'm going to tell you right now, there is little if any music here. There is almost nothing in terms of a score. There's almost nothing in terms of background music. So really, sound all boils down to just, can you hear the actors? And I already told you, it comes in real quiet on the copy that I downloaded. I mean, again, perhaps maybe if I buy the DVD, or if I wait until they like remaster it and they put it out on like Blu-ray or something, maybe then I'll have a copy where the sound is absolutely fantastic. I don't know. And at this point, I really don't care, because I still loved what I saw. It's just, I really hope that the sound is just a problem with what I've got here. Frankly, now we get to whether or not I can recommend this. I can, but with a lot of little mentions. It's like this. If you have a problem with films that are trying to preach a very strong message against war, or a message which questions faith but really never comes out directly and says whether or not there is a God, it just sort of throws out like both sides and lets you sort of choose. If you don't like that kind of thing, if you just do not like films that are almost guaranteed to make you fucking cry, you're not going to like this. And I would then say at that point, if you fall into those camps, or if you are one of those people who for whatever reason has a problem with watching movies which are in black and white, most of this movie is in black and white, you're probably going to want to just avoid this entirely. However, if you're able to look past all of that, or if you're one of those people who you revel in films that make you fucking weep, then watch this one. You pretty much have to. And for fans of Metallica, there is a positive, and that is that the current DVD of this, as well as most of the other ones which have been put out over the years, feature the music video to one. The one, and I'm talking the version of the music video which uses footage from this movie, which frankly enhances the song in ways I never thought possible. Especially now that I know the context to all of those clips, it makes that song a hell of a lot more powerful. So that's awesome. Really, I would say if you are looking for a movie and you really want to see a just fantastic movie, even though it has a couple of flaws, you're going to want to look for this one. I believe that Johnny Got His Gun is probably one of the best films I've seen. I mean, again, guys, no other film in the history of reaction and review. This is the 111th episode. Yes, I've been keeping count. I really am that much of a sad bastard. 111 episodes. Not a single one has made me even come close to crying. The closest is, well, me feeling a little bit depressed after watching Downfall. But that didn't make me fucking cry. This thing did. And I haven't felt this sad and I haven't cried this much since I watched Grave of the Fireflies. And that was long before I did reaction and review. And that movie's sad as shit, too, and I would recommend that. I'd also recommend that one in a fucking heartbeat, too, I should mention. So yeah, guys, if you can find a copy of this thing somewhere, check it out. Unless, of course, you fall into those couple of camps I mentioned earlier where, well, you're obviously not going to be into this sort of thing. Otherwise, yeah, you will love this movie. I can almost guarantee you will love this goddamn movie. Now, I need to go and wipe the tears out of my fucking eyes because they're starting to burn. So I'm going to have to cut this fucking review a little bit short. Well, actually, I'm not even cutting it short. I've already closed out everything. So yeah, guys, until next time, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.